Hello, first grade. Today I'm going to read Grandfather Tang's story to you. Make sure that you have your 7 tangrams with you. As we're reading, I'm going to have you pause the video so that you can use your shapes to make different animals. And then when you unpause the video, I'll have an example of what maybe you could have made. Grandfather Tang and little Sue were sitting under a peach tree in their backyard. They were amusing each other by making different shapes with their tangram puzzles. "Let's do the story about the fox fairies," said little Sue. So Grandfather Tang arranged his 7 tangram pieces into the shape of a fox. So using all 7 of your pieces, I want you to make a fox. So pause the video so that you can make your fox. And this is just an example of what tangram foxes could look like. Then Grandfather Tang made another fox with little Sue's 7 tangram pieces. Little Sue slapped her hands as her grandfather began. Although Chu and Wu Ling were best friends, they were always trying to outdo each other. One day, this rivalry almost brought their friendship to a tragic end. They were sitting under their favorite willow tree beside the river, talking about their magic powers. "I can change myself into a rabbit as quick as a wink," boasted Wu Ling. "I bet you can't do that," said Chu. "Anyway, actions speak louder than words," said Wu, and he changed himself into a rabbit. So using all 7 pieces, I want you to create a rabbit with your tangram. So pause the video and go make your rabbit. And here's an example of a rabbit. "Not bad," said Chu, smoothing his whiskers, "but watch me do better than that." And before Wu Ling could blink, Chu changed from a fox into a dog. So now you're going to use all your tangram pieces to create a dog. So go ahead and pause the video. And here's the dog. Now, when Chu changed himself into a dog, he not only looked like a dog, but he felt like a dog and he acted like one. He bared his teeth and lashed his tail. Wu Ling shivered and twitched his nose. "I love rabbits," Chu growled. "I'm going to get you and gobble you up." The dog edged closer and closer. Wu Ling's eyes grew bigger and bigger. And then he thought, "Well, I'll be safe if I can climb up the willow tree." His little puff of a tail grew long and bushy, and his tall ears shrunk as Wu Ling transformed into a squirrel. So using all 7 pieces, you're going to pause the video and make a squirrel. And here is an example. Wu Ling sprang into the willow tree and scrambled to the top. "Chu probably will turn himself into a cat so that he can climb up the tree after me," Chu thought. "But he'll never catch me. I'll jump from tree to tree and he won't be able to follow me." Of course, Chu thought about changing himself into a cat, but that's exactly what Wu Ling wants me to do, he would say to himself. "What can I do to surprise him? I know, I'll swoop down from up above." And he turned himself into a hawk. So using all 7 pieces, I want you to pause the video and make a hawk. And here's an example of a hawk. Chu circled round and round in the sky above the willow tree searching for Wu Ling. But Wu Ling was peering through the leaves, trying to look down on the ground for Chu. Round and round Chu circled until he spied Wu Ling. "Keek, keek," he shrieked as he zoomed down from above, down upon the squirrel. Wu trembled. Chu's beak looked sharp enough to pierce right through him. "If only I lived in a shell house, then Chu couldn't hurt me." Chu stuck out his fierce claws to seize Wu Ling, but Wu Ling dove toward the river below the tree. As he dove, he tucked his head and tails and legs and turned green, and he transformed into a turtle. So using all 7 pieces, I want you to pause the video and make a turtle. Wu Ling climbed upon a mossy rock in the middle of the river. He thought he was safe because he looked as if he was part of the rock. Chu circled round and round, searching and searching until his sharp eyes spotted the turtle. Then he swooped down toward him. But just as Chu reached him, Wu Ling plunged into the water. "Follow me and you'll drown," he cried. "Don't worry," cried Chu, plunging right behind Wu Ling. His body grew longer and became covered in scales. He whooped into the water with his long, wicked tail, and he snapped his spike-toothed jaws as he turned into a crocodile. So I want you to pause your video and make a crocodile. And here's an example. Just as they reached the bottom, Chu clamped Wu Ling in his spike-toothed mouth. "Now I've got you," he bellowed through his clenched teeth. "Oh, no, you haven't," cried Wu Ling. He grew smaller and smaller and changed himself from green to gold as he transformed into a goldfish. So pause the video and use your tangrams to make a goldfish. And here is an example of a goldfish. Then he hid in a patch of cattails. Chu churned the water with his lashing tail as he charged into the patch after Wu Ling. With his head swinging back and forth and his eyes darting here and there, he searched for Wu Ling. Wu Ling knew that Chu could not give up until he found him. I must fly from here, he thought, and he started to honk as he transformed himself into a goose. So pause the video and use your tangrams to make a goose. And here is an example of a goose. Chu charged after him, but Wu Ling spread his wings and took to the air. Chu watched him fly into a small island with a flock of geese were feeding. By now, he was not only angry, but he was also very hungry. He decided that if he could not catch Wu Ling, any goose would do. He splashed through the water toward the island until he reached it. Honk, honk, called Wu Ling, and he took to the air. A chorus of honks swelled the air as the flock of geese spread their wings to follow him. While Chu watched, the honking grew fainter and the flock grew smaller. He felt his anger slowly drain away. Moments later, Chu was flying after Wu Ling and the other geese. He could hardly see or hear them at first, but he did not let that discourage him. Calling upon every last bit of his strength, he forged ahead. Each flap of his wing brought him closer. The wedge of geese slowly grew bigger, the honking grew louder, and at last Chu found himself flying beside Wu Ling. I'm tired of our silly game, he cried. Come back with me to the willow tree. Before Wu Ling could answer, something stung Chu's tight wing. He sank toward the ground. A hunter had shot him. Wu Ling flew down beside Chu, placed his left wing under Chu's smashed right wing, and together they fluttered down to the edge of the forest. The hunter ran toward them. Fly away, Chu urged. Save yourself! Fly, fly! I won't desert you, said Wu Ling, and with a mighty roar he changed himself into a lion. So use your tangrams and create a lion. Here's an example. The hunter raised his bow. Wu Ling sprang toward him and knocked the bow from his hand. The hunter fled, leaving his bow behind. Wu Ling and Chu returned to their fox shapes. So go back to the first shape that you made and create a fox. And Wu Ling helped Chu to his den, where he took care of him until he was well again. Did they ever play that game again? Asked Sue. Many times, said her grandfather, but they were very, very careful. That was a good story, said Sue. Let's do another one. Grandfather arranged his 7 tangram pieces. Is this story going to be about a man? Asked Sue. Yes, said Grandfather. He's old and tired, so I want you to create a man out of your tangrams. He wants to sit under a tree. So now you're going to pause the video and create a tree. He wants to rest a while. Is he a grandfather like you? Said Sue. Yes, said her grandfather, just like me. Little Sue arranged her 7 pieces beside her grandfather's. Is that a little girl? He asked. Yes, said Sue, just like me. And she'll sit and rest beside the man. So you're going to pause the video and create a little girl with your pieces. That will make the man very happy, said Grandfather Tang. And now, little Sue, what will we do? We'll sit and rest together until Mother calls us for supper, said little Sue. That would make me very happy, said her grandfather. And here is the ending story.